on stopping the addition of fluoridation to treated water.
Could I make, I just want to make one other statement. I really appreciate everyone who is helping us think through the drainage fee, and I appreciate the work of the staff. So we'll try to keep you apprised of our progress, and as we said before, at this point, our expectation is to have it on next Thursday's, not tomorrow's, agenda, and to have further discussion in front of work session next Tuesday, which is public. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kitchen. So on item 4, yes, let's please proceed. If it's okay with the committee, I'd like to see if we could divide some time between, we have a number of speakers, the city will, I think, present for, and we'll have some speakers in favor of the resolution. So if we could break it up into 30 minutes, would that make sense if we set a 30-minute timer and we start going and see how we do? So, terrific. Thank you for coming. So let's go ahead and get started.
Thank you. My name is Jane Brazier. I'm the Assistant Director of the Water and Wastewater Treatment Program with Austin Water Utility.
And I'm Janet Pichette. I'm the Chief Epidemiologist with the Austin Travis County Health and Human Services Department. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Philip Wong, who couldn't be here today.
What I'm going to do today is just provide a little bit of background, and then we'd probably step aside and be prepared to respond to any concerns or issues that are brought up later. Austin began fluoridating the water in 1973. This followed 2 non-binding referendums, one held in April of 1971 and one in September of 1972. Following that, Council passed the resolution 17Jun2015-1, which was based on the returns of the elections, and they directed the utility to begin water fluoridation. Since then, the issue came up again in the late 2009, 10, 11, and in December of 2011, Council passed another resolution. I believe it's in the packet, 2011-1215-011, which required us to continue fluoridation. It also required notification of fluoridation issues be mailed out to citizens, as well as language on our internet for infants and children in the issue of fluoridation. We have met and continue to comply with all the requirements of this resolution. The background, we feed hydrofluorosilicic acid as the chemical that introduces the fluoride into the water. We have been feeding that as long as I know, as I'm aware of. We spent last year, fiscal year 2014, we spent $332,609 on the fluoride and $7,100 in labor and materials for the maintenance of the system. This gives a total of $339,726, which is about 38 cents a person for the fluoridation. We dose the fluoride, the fluoride is naturally occurring in the water at about 0.2 to 0.25 parts per million, and we raise it to the CDC recommended optimal level of 0.7 parts per million in the finished water. Prior to 2011, CDC had a recommended range of 0.7 to 1.2 parts per million. It was based on the assumption that the mean temperature where you lived would dictate how much water you drank, so the more water you drank, the lower the fluoride needed to be. We are in a warmer climate. We were at the 0.7 prior to the change that CDC made to the 0.7 in 2011. That recommendation was finalized this year, last month, I believe. I need to make one clarification. CDC does not regulate the drinking water industry, the EPA does. CDC makes this recommended, what they believe is the optimum level for fluoridation. We are regulated by the EPA. So for fluoride levels by the EPA, the maximum contaminant level is 4.0 parts per million, which means we can never let the fluoride go above that level. They also have a secondary level of 2.0 parts per million. The difference is they believe the maximum contaminant level and the maximum contaminant level goal, which in both these cases is the 4, is designed to prevent diseases and health effects from the constituent, from the fluoride in this case. The 2.0 is to minimize the dental fluorosis, which could cause aesthetic problems for people. Again, we are way below both of those. In 2006, the NRC, the National Research Council, studied fluoridation. EPA asked them to look at both the maximum contaminant level and the secondary contaminant level. They're very clear in that study that they were only evaluating it at 4 parts per million and the 2 parts per million. They did not look at the optimal fluoridation level recommended by CDC. Recommendations that came out of that was that the EPA take a look again at the prevalence of fluoride in our environment now that we take in that we hadn't prior to that, and that there were some other studies that needed more research. To date, EPA has not changed the maximum contaminant level or the secondary recommended level for fluoride. So we are right now in full compliance, and do you have any questions on that?
Sorry, before you go on, so you were talking about the difference between different climates, right? The warmer climates, people are going to drink more water. But
Yes.
So does Austin vary the level during wintertime and the summer months?
No, we do not.
That kind of would seem like we would drink a lot less in the winter than we would in the summer. So I wonder why it wouldn't be changed.
On the when they had the range, that was quite a few utilities would do that, go higher in the winter and lower in the summer. We did lower ours to 0.7 prior to 2011, and partly because we are in an inherently warmer area, and partly cost, to be honest.
You're saying the complexity of the control system to change the concentration from the winter months to the summer months? Because you do have to have a pretty sophisticated control system, right, to make sure you don't add too much into the water. So I used to work in these industrial controls, so I know it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
But so you're already doing that, right? So it would seem
Yes.
like you could dial in a different concentration